welcome to an explanation of the benefits of prison work programs. We're going to start off with a brief history of work programs, and they came around fairly early on. I mean, the concept of manual labor and work has always been pretty relevant and important within prisons. It has been associated with punishment primarily, which is where the formation of chain gangs and things of the sort originally came around, manual labor in the form of punishment. And in 1913, they began to look at this a little bit differently and began to see work and the ability to learn and gain some things as more of a benefit, more of something that could actually help these prisoners and inmates grow and gain some valuable skills or maybe education and allow them to re-enter their communities a little bit. And over time, this has developed very substantially, increasing to them actually being able to go back into their communities, maybe see family more. These jobs have become very coveted within the prison system because it allows these prisoners and inmates opportunities that they normally wouldn't be allowed while serving their sentences. So they've become something that a lot of people support and a lot of people are very fond of. However, they have not necessarily reached their full potential. And this is extremely important because they lack a great deal of funding, and they are far more beneficial than a lot of people seem to think they are. And this is just due to the fact that there is a great deal of opposition, and that will be covered a little bit later on in this video. But if the programs were to receive some more support, some more funding, they would have the necessary means to continue to expand, and they would grow even more and serve to benefit both the inmates and their respective communities even more than they already do. In terms of what they can do to help out the inmates, they allow them to develop skills in a field, and they can begin working towards maybe something that would help them find a job or hold down a job after they're released and they re-enter their communities. It allows them to build up their social skills more and spend time doing things that they normally wouldn't be allowed to while serving their sentence. It allows them to live a more active lifestyle and start sort of getting in the works of a more stable lifestyle that they could live and continue to work towards even once they are released. It allows them to reestablish a relationship with their community, which was actually showcased in one of the articles where they were talking about the community work programs down in Florida and how they allow the prisoners to go off-site and work within their communities to reestablish their relationships there, gain some more renown within their communities, and show people that they really are becoming rehabilitated. And it also allows them some time to spend with loved ones, which is a privilege that they typically aren't allowed outside of visiting hours. And beyond even just the prisoners reestablishing themselves in their communities, there are things like education programs. For example, if a prisoner didn't graduate high school, they can get their GED, they can begin learning trades, or start seeking means of higher education post-release. A correlation has been found between these programs and lower recidivism rates, which recidivism just means the rate at which prisoners reoffend, and recidivism itself is just a prisoner reoffending and ending up back in prison. There has also been a correlation found between participation in these programs and higher employment rates and the ability to hold down jobs longer. And this just allows prisoners to come out and live a more stable lifestyle. They can actually make money through normal means, live an honest life, spend time with family and loved ones, and help their community out. Typically, even if a prisoner is arrested for whatever reason, they are even less likely to be convicted. And overall, they just allow inmates and prisoners far more opportunities to grow and actually rehabilitate to a stable point. Next, we'd be talking about the community benefits. And they're fairly similar, and some of them are the same, just they benefit the community in different ways and they benefit the inmate. But if the inmate comes out and they are able to hold down a job longer, get a job faster, and they're less likely to reoffend and end up back in prison, then all that serves to do is benefit the community. And there's going to be less crime. There's going to be more people contributing to the economy of that area. They're going to be helping out more. They're probably going to come out a better person and just, more willing to contribute to the community as a whole. There's going to be more money being cycled through the communities and the state from products that are generated by these programs. There are some programs that are state use only, and basically what that means is that the products generated by them are for use by the state and the government only. There are some that are able to sell their products within the community or contribute to the community as well, making things that would be sold in local stores and things like that. And most people see it as a more beneficial use of taxpayer money, because these people are actually gaining something and will seek to better themselves, as opposed to just being quote unquote punished and stuck in a cell all day. There are a few types of opposition that come with these programs, one of them being that the sampling bias is rather substantial. And this is just because in order to keep these programs beneficial, there is a vetting process for the prisoners that are allowed to participate in them. That being said, the severity of their crime, how long they have been imprisoned, the length of their sentence, what exactly their background is in general. And it's just, there is the argument that some criminals are strictly criminals, or some criminals have committed far too serious a crime to be allowed back into society and they cannot be rehabilitated. And no one has disagreed with that, which is why there is a vetting process to these programs. However, these two statements sort of contradict themselves, because people tend to use the sampling bias as a reason for why this data is not reliable. However, then they make the argument that there needs to be more vetting for these programs. They are just constantly in this back and forth, even amongst the people that agree that they should be opposed. There is the more conservative argument that prison should return to the older ways of being focused strictly on punishment and not rehabilitation, and that these people are there because they did something wrong and that they don't really need to come back into society as a better person. They just need to be punished and know they did something wrong. The primary issue with this is that most prisoners will admit that they did something wrong. They know that they have messed up, and whether it be, a lapse of judgment or a crime of passion, emotionally committed, there's a multitude of reasons that people commit crimes, whether maybe they planned it out and they really did want to, or see no other way to go about their life than committing this crime. But the case is that most prisoners and inmates will admit to the crimes that they committed, and they understand why they're there, and they know that they put themselves there. So the ideals of, punishment over rehabilitation don't really work very well for the mindset that a lot of these prisoners have. And there's the idea that the benefits provided to the community do not outweigh the risks of allowing these people returning before they carry out their sentence. Well, allowing these people to return and see their families and friends and reestablish themselves in their community only serves to help them and the community, because once they come out, they will be a better person. They will be more established in themselves and in the community that they'll be working in. They'll provide more money. They'll circulate the economy. They'll be less likely to reoffend and commit crimes. All they serve to do is benefit the community. And then if you would just look here, these are going to be the sources that I used, some being popular sources and then some being report write-ups from some professionally written criminal justice journals. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be signing off.